up? This your boy Monty G from the Fammission Podcast. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get all access to motivated and inspiring videos on this Fammission Friday. Every Friday, let's get to the podcast. Yo, what's up? This your boy Monty G from the Fammission Podcast. And today we got a special guest, man. This is serious right here, man. So I need y'all to go ahead and share this video, subscribe so you won't miss another one. Let's get right to it, man. I ain't gonna hold you up. I'm gonna bring them and y'all go ahead and show them a welcome. Yo, what's going on, family member? How you doing out there?
Oh, what's up, man? How you doing, man? Life is good, man.
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored, man. How you doing today?
Everything good, man. You know, just a slow day, just regular old day, man. Had a lot of productive conversations today, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, man. It ain't a regular day, man. You looking nice and groomed today, man. That's what's up.
Oh, yeah, man. I have to go do something. You know, so you try to blast me out there. You know, I could put myself out there, but, you know, the thing is that, man, I'm kind of one of those persons that I'm focused on a lot of other things. And sometimes just, you know, sitting in a barber's chair is not one of them. And I don't like people touching me. So that's, you know, so it's like, man,
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. But, you know, you looking good, man. That's what's up. Hey, so let's get straight to it, man. For the people that don't know, give me a little background history about your life and about yourself growing up.
All right, man. So look, growing up, I was just a, you know, regular little kid. I was a nerdy little kid running around reading everything that I could get my hands on, thinking that I was so knowledgeable and just above, you know, just beyond my years at that point. You know, and I was absorbing things that other people around me weren't. But the difference was it wasn't the fact that I was so accelerated. The fact was just that the people around me weren't accelerating also. So it made me look out of place. And I definitely was treated as if, you know, I didn't fit in. Right. So, you know, running in the places, I'm distracted because one of my main supporters just asked how she could see it, man. And I really want to give her the link, you know, or whatever.
Oh, yeah. So, you can check us out on YouTube. We streaming live on YouTube.
I know, but she just messaged me on this phone. Matter of fact, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give her the link from my laptop while I finish. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. All right. Hey, so look, so now where we was at, you were talking about my past. So okay, my family is from the Imperial Courts in Watts, right? So you know, we came about the projects. You know, that's who we were. We were project family, project kids, and so forth, right? And when it came down to it, you know, we ended up moving up out of those places, but moved into other places that were less violent and less gang affiliated or impacted, but drugs and violence and things still seeped into those places, right? And not only did those things seep into those places, but also because of my own personality defects and just things being what I call low hanging fruit, you know, easily accessible, you know, I succumbed to those things. Like, okay, put it like this, right? If there's a liquor store on every corner in your neighborhood, right, it's easier to get to a liquor store than it is to get to a library. And why is that? And why is it like that in America? You know, we got Republicans and stuff out there banning books and things like that, right? Instead of building libraries and trying to spread knowledge. And I can understand, right, that, yeah, it's true. We may not always agree about everything, right? But when you want to specifically just banish, you know, thought and telling people, you know, how to think, or they're programming people. That's what it comes down to. They're talking about indoctrination. And I haven't read this whole this Project 2025 thing, right? It's a 922 page document, right? So a lot of people probably don't really fully understand it, right? And I don't even profess to understand it because I haven't even really dug into it, right? But I will, but and then the things that I have seen so far, I already believe that the thing is it's definitely a power grab. It's a power grab, and it's an attempt at indoctrination in America, right? And I'm gonna say that just based upon the fact that when they're talking about the educational system and they're talking about how to push this conservative ideology forward, right? They're talking about bringing people into positions of influence and having those people in turn go out to the masses and to preach, their beliefs and so forth, right? Which at the same time, there's nothing wrong with, with attempting to convert people, because if you have a valid argument, then let's hear it, right? But no, what they're trying to give us is the fascist model that Saddam and Kim Jong-un, use. There won't just be the Pledge of Allegiance. It'll be, Trump is our father, to who we all love. Like this is a cult of personality. We've seen this with Stalin. We've seen it with the Kims. We've seen it with Saddam. We've seen it with all of these cults of personalities. It hasn't been the most successful thing. Gaddafi may have tried it, but either way, it's bad. To put your faith in one person and say that one person is the savior of, of country, a world, a planet, whatever you want it to be, right? It just makes no sense to me. But hey, I'm just one man.
I know. we know what they say, man. They scatter the people with the knowledge and they take advantage of the ones that don't have it. So that's where we at with it.
Man, I'm still trying to get this link to this. Man. But yeah, I hear you. Go ahead, man. Please.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, or you can text her and just tell her we going live on YouTube. Oh, you can't text because you're on your voice call.
No, I can get her. Just tell her YouTube. It's on YouTube. All right, yeah. I'm trying to send her the link.
Podcast.
Yeah, I'm trying to send her the link, but I'll just do it there. Yeah.
You can send her the link. Yeah, send them a link. Yeah. So for the people, let me talk to the streets real quick. Let me see if anybody out here. Let me see. We got a couple people out here. Okay, we got Dora Ellis out here. We got some more Facebook users. Ain't got no names, but I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can share this video. Facebook acting weird right now.
I got that right there. Just came through.
So while we trying to get this up, why don't you go ahead and tell the people where they can find you, because you guys got a new YouTube page launching.
Man. I'm at where I'm at Lil Frog, the Conscious Crip, and you can find me at YouTube, and I'm also on TikTok, and and I'm also on Facebook and Instagram.
I also found this website.
Okay, so you on TikTok? You found this website?
Yeah. There's a website with some of his writings on it.
Oh, you got a website with some of your writings on it?
I got all kinds of stuff I was doing when I was in prison, man. I was, I was just talking to one of my friends, a professor at Cal Poly, right? And I was just telling her how one of my writings was actually being used as a citation in a law journal article, right? The article that I wrote was about sexuality in prison, right? It was called keep your hands where my eyes can see.
on the real.
No, but it was talking about masturbation. Right, because because the whole thing was that I was in a conversation with a guy who was basically bisexual, and he was saying that the whole structure that they use to punish human beings for being sexual was all a fiction. Like it didn't even really exist in the law. Like when you read the law, it talked about illegal sex acts. But what is an illegal sex act? That's something that evolves. Okay, back in the day, black men and women couldn't marry white men and women. That was considered an illegal sex act.
Right.
But it evolved over time to where now that's legal. So in the prisons, they're talking about homosexuality, for those that, that are homosexuals or gay, and that's their thing. But how is the prison system or whatever telling them as adults that they can't consent to whatever they want to consent to? Right. But trying to punish them for that. And the guy showed me, he's like, they really can't do that. But, it's like an underground law. It's a law that's written that just doesn't really it's so vague as to be meaningless, but they punish people for things like that. Right. And then sex between a prisoner and a staff member is considered to be illegal too, because that is basically a prisoner is a slave, and a slave cannot consent to anything. So like it's like if a female officer came to me and was like, hey, do this, do that, and I'm like, no, she has the power to be like, hey, he said he's gonna kill me. And I'll be sitting in the courtroom with this officer, sitting on the stand crying, talking about this guy, this gang member, and all of this other stuff that, that I may be labeled as, just threatened me and, and said this and said, I could get 3 strikes for some shit like that. Right? Because of what somebody says and their credibility under the law. Right. So, and that's what happened with slavery and, in the chattel slavery days, right. And here in America, where if a black person or whatever is enslaved and the master wants to have sex with that person, the master can kill you. How do you resist? It's the same thing in prison. The guards actually on level 4s and level 3 prisons have mini 14s in California prisons, and they will shoot. So I know that this is a wild, crazy scenario, but imagine this. Imagine you got a sexual advance from a officer. Let's say a male officer, female officer, whoever it may be. But say you rebuff the events, right? And that person is up there with a mini 14, and something happens on the yard, the person can kill you. And it'll look as if it's justified.
Yeah.
Now, but that's a way out hypothetical. But I will tell you this though, that in California, that at one point, and this was like about 1998, because I had just gotten out of Corcoran Shoe, and they had this thing going on there where there was a brother from East Coast Crip. I never had met him, but he had got murdered by the officers there in Corcoran in the Shoe. And I actually was in the building where it had happened at, so they were running that building differently from the way that they were running the rest of the shoe yard there, right? So what happened, what it was though, that case like changed a lot of the way that prison functioned in the holes in California, because they were doing like gladiator game, like fights and stuff, and doing like, betting on people and things like that. Like people didn't understand like that the guards in California prisons are barbaric. Like not every single one, but but
I ain't want to cut you off, but for the listeners, like they might not know where you're going at. So I want to go back a little bit, right? Tell the people where you from. First of all, tell the people your name, where you from, and what you do. Let's start there. Because a lot of people gonna say, man, he talking about prison. And why you talking about prison? Tell them. That's what I want to get to. Like, go ahead.
Okay,
Tell
so
them your
look,
name. Tell them where you're from and what you do.
okay, look, my name is Lil Frog. I'm from 10 Deuce Raymond Avenue Crip. That's a gang in Inglewood, California, right? It has multiple factions that are in LA, Pasadena, Denver, Memphis. The Raymonds exist in California, in the United States. Mm-hmm. You know, and the government knows this. This is this is nothing new. The police, if the local police know, then the FBI know, and if the FBI know, then that means that the DOJ knows, and the Attorney General and everybody else knows. They know who we are. The Crips are not underground, and here's the thing, right? And I'm not coming to anybody saying that I'm going to hurt somebody, kill somebody, or whatever. I'm on a conscious tip. We out here living, right? Mm-hmm. Most of my homeboys are fathers and grandfathers and stuff like that. Yeah, we got younger homeboys that may drift off into whatever they drift off into, but they also have to understand that those things didn't benefit us, mm-hmm. and they continue to harm us. So, it's time to move away from them things, right? That's right. But at the same time, I could say this though, that, yes, okay, I grew up in Los Angeles. My father was a Crip. My father, died during a family dispute. When I was young, I was 14 when this happened, right? And he never was really a part of my life. So, I basically raised myself. Everything that I am and everything that I believe and so forth and all that, I never really had any strong family members, that were role models and things like that to me. I mean, there were people that were available, but, they didn't play that role. And what I found in the streets was different. What I found in the streets was different. What I found in the penitentiary, the juvenile halls, the YAs, all that stuff, everything that I experienced, it was just different. And I've always had to stand, on my own and be my own person. Yes, I was a member of a gang, but every gang member individually is accountable to the rules. You got to follow the rules.
So, I mean, yeah, that's right. So how long did you spend in prison, if I may ask?
29 years.
29 years.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, you've been home for like 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So in that time, like, what is something that you had to, even right now, like, what is something you had to unlearn in your whole journey that you had to unlearn and relearn?
I think one of the things that I have to unlearn, and it's difficult because it's so ingrained in who I am, even before the prison experience, is that I know that I can be very callous to people, right? And it's not, I've been called an asshole. Well, not an asshole. I've been called like a jerk twice, probably like in the last couple of days, weeks or something. But I mean, and I know, like my siblings and stuff, I got a large family, and, I actually have 13 siblings, all younger than me, right? So, and they don't like, their big brother talking to them a certain type of way, their feelings get involved and stuff. And I'll be like, we're not dealing with feelings. I'm trying to give y'all facts, right? But, not everybody can take that type of direct talk, and they do take it as callous and uncaring and apathetic and all of these things. But I have learned to be more calculated about the things that I say and do. And, and when you living in a world that is, that functions off of extreme acts of violence, you don't, you tend to not think about emotions. You tend to think about, survival and, and things of that nature. So,
yeah, I mean, and I talk to my cousin a lot about this, and people get frustrated with the facts, you know what I'm saying, because they got to understand the truth change, but the facts remain the same. But we need to understand that most people don't understand.
What part they don't understand?
The part they don't understand.
That's why. Okay, look. Let me tell you this, right? When it comes to prison, right? Mm-hmm. I read a book, right? I ain't gonna plug the book because I ain't getting no money for it, but it's a
go ahead. I was gonna ask y'all. Say, man, go ahead. I'm gonna ask you after.
So, man, hey, it's a book that I read a long time ago. I read this book when I was like 16, right? But the guy did a lot of time, right? And it was a well-known book in that day, right? And the guy said in there, I quote him as saying that you haven't experienced incarceration. You don't know anything about prison until you've done long stretches in prison. Right, like person coming out telling you that, oh, I did 5 years, and like, man, like get out the way, like, man, like there's people that been 5. They used to lock yards down for like a year back then, or years, right? Like when I was in High Desert State Prison in California, to Susanville in 1997, right? And a war started with the whites in that prison, right? And that war went from 97 to like 2007. Right, like like that's the nature of it in some of these California prisons. Like you can actually have conflicts that would go on for a long time. When I was in Salinas Valley, what was that? Like that was like 2013 or something like that. A war jumped off between the blacks and the northern Hispanics, and that happened on one yard and jumped off to another yard. And the war went on for like a couple of years on the second yard. It stopped on the place where it originally happened. Ain't that something? The guys that really was involved in what the problem, they squashed their beef, but on the other yard, those were still trying to harm each other, right? So I mean, prison is unpredictable, and that's the thing. Like that is the sole harmful thing about it, is just the fact that it's damaging the minds, that level of unpredictability, like just being just not on edge about just violence happening, but just uncertainty about everything, just all the, like, you want to call your mother who's ailing, and they may lock the yard down for a month. Like imagine that, like people are getting letters and stuff that their relatives and stuff that passed away while we're sitting in cells with no access to the public. The COVID-19, man, they locked all California prisons down, and we had no visitors for an entire year. I'm talking about what?
I was gonna ask you that. Like, how was that? And when matter of fact, you've been locked up for a while, so tell me about, because I always ask this question, but what was that like when 9/11 hit?
Oh man, that was crazy. Man, look, I was asleep, right? I'm in the cell with the homie Dum Dum from 60s, right? So he's an early riser, so he's up, right? And I'm asleep. I'm on the top bunk. He hit the bunk, boom, boom, boom. Like, man, what? Right? He say, man, a plane just hit the World Trade Center, right? I'm like, all right, I roll over, right? Boom, boom, boom. Man, another one. Like, I jumped up. I'm like, what? I'm like, man, you didn't say an airliner. You said a plane. Like, like not a 747. But yes. So look, when that happened, man, we sitting up there watching the footage, man. Like, we're already confined, so we don't even have much. And we was on lockdown. That was the worst part. We was on lockdown. In Salinas Valley, we was on lockdown. So because at that time, what we were on lockdown for? The blacks, we was into it with the Southsiders, the Southside Hispanics, and the whites was into it with the Northern Hispanics. So the whole yard was locked down. There were no others over there. So anyway, we were on lockdown, and that's what happened. And they took over the airwaves, like everything was shut down, like, and everything was just wall-to-wall coverage of that and all that. So it became very monotonous, like just sitting up in them cells while that was going on, and then the treatment of people, like, the level of suspicion and things like that. Like, a lot of dudes that were Muslims and stuff were running around, and they were, like feeling like, they could be, harmed or, locked up. Some people, I think, I didn't see that personally, but I do believe some people did get themselves in a position where they were removed from the population because of their religious affiliation. And I think it was one dude that ended up actually tapping in with Al Qaeda, like through the internet or something, and ended up like getting rendered away like to the feds or something. Like it's some crazy stuff. It's some Crips that got into some shit. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but even going further though, man, look, the craziest thing that I've ever seen relating to that, right? There was this one brother, right? And he was a soldier, right? You know, like I don't really want to say what he did, but his crime was an act of political violence, right? You know, he corrected a wrong that had been done to a child. Right.
Okay.
You know. Okay, so you know, he corrected this person and you know, and he was punished for what he did, right? And so later on he ends up tattooing the buildings burning on his back. Right? And I'm like looking at this, he was not a US citizen on top of that, right? And I'm like, dude, they're going to take you to Guantanamo when you parole from here. And I don't know whatever happened to that brother. You know what I'm saying? I would like to know, but he tattooed the burning buildings on his back. Like, yeah, you think that the California Department of Corrections, like, you know, and everything that they believe in, you know, America first and all that they're going to just let you just walk back to your country after they release you? Yeah, like, man, they finna put a hood over your head and take you. But he did it and he understood, you know, what he could have been up against, and he was a soldier for his, though. You know? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, let me see. If we got talk to the streets. Let me see. Let's give me 1 second. Let's talk to the streets. Who we got out there? Let me throw some comments up.
Yeah, I have. Unfortunately, Facebook is not cooperating.
Oh,
I'll have to tell you who they are. So we've got Jackie out there.
Jackie, what's going on? Oh, you only say Facebook users. I don't see nobody's name.
Yeah. We got Jafar.
Hanif, what's going on, bro?
We got
Lamont Blunt. What up, Philly Blunt? Yeah, we got
Charles Jackson.
Charles Jackson, what up, bro? Yeah.
We got Don Junjun.
Man, thank y'all for the support, man. Don Junjun in the building, man. Go ahead and share this video, share this live. Thank y'all for the support. We can't see y'all names right now. I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but if y'all can go to YouTube, we can see y'all names. I see Don Junjun. And yeah, we got Lil Frog, you know what I'm saying, the Conscious Crip. Y'all go check out his page on YouTube. He got a TikTok. Can you put his YouTube?
Please subscribe. I need subscribers.
Man, we need some subscribers over there. You know, he be dropping short videos. You know, he been gone for a while, but he back now and he got some knowledge. He been dropping knowledge, man. You know, I heard your grandma taught you how to read at 4 years old.
Yeah, my grandmother.
Yeah, so I got some.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I got some questions for you, man, and you can let me see. You can read them and check them out and answer the questions, man. We got 30 more minutes left, and the podcast is going good. You know what I'm saying? You having some terrific stories. You know,
all right. Blast me them questions, man. Let's do this. What you gonna ask me? What you said? What was my favorite dish that grandma cooked for me? What if I said my grandma? What if I'm like my grandma couldn't cook? Y'all go. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go bash my grandma. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like what type of grandma? What type of grandma was she? Nah, my grandma could cook.
Hey, we got some. I got some questions from some people that said, "How you got that name, Lil Frog?"
Actually, my homeboy Big Frog was, you know, the original person who had the name. I was just a little soldier that he wanted on his team. That was it.
Okay. Yeah, y'all can ask some questions too, man. Y'all on the live. We answered the live chat.
How is his personal journey mentally?
That was to show one of my questions. How was your
Well,
journey mentally?
my journey from what point? I mean,
Like,
because
your journey.
yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
like,
you have to be a little more specific.
well, yeah,
My
because it
journey towards
is a
maturity,
roller coaster.
my journey towards maturity post incarceration. Is that what you're looking for?
They didn't say.
Yeah, they didn't say. They didn't say.
Okay, I'm gonna go with that, right? So look,
All right.
because I always was somebody who kind of like floated in the intellectual realm. So like even when I was in school and I wasn't taking books home and things like that, right? I was still always prepared academically enough to where the teachers engaged me and understood that I was somebody who was wasting, a lot, right? Like I remember there was a teacher. I wish I honestly remembered this guy's name, right? But it was when I was in the 8th grade, and his teacher pulled me to the side. He was a pre-algebra teacher, right? And I deliberately didn't take algebra. And, I ended up at pre-algebra when I should have been in algebra at that point, right? So I was sabotaging myself academically even at that point, right? So, but he pulled me to the side and he told me, and I remember this to this day. Like there's a few things I remember that, that I reflect back on now and say, if only I would have processed that information differently, I would have ended up in a different place. Because what he told me was that I was the first person who's ever passed his class without turning in homework, which is probably like maybe like 40% of the grade or something, but I never took books home. So I'm passing his classes on quizzes and tests, right? And he put me up for a scholarship. There's like a little menial scholarship for like $500 or something, and he put me up for it. But of course, I was turned down by all the people that are voting. Like, you nominating this dude just getting a C or a D or whatever I was getting. Like, they're like, no. But he let me know, like, dude, you're doing something that I've not seen somebody else do in my years of teaching. So that was that. But and even beyond that, just everything that I've done, even right now, I'm taking college courses and stuff and all that, right? And I'm telling my friends, like, I'm bored, like I'm not in there. And I told my little sister, April, if you watching, I did it again. And I got 7 out of 11 this time. But so anyway, so I just passing the quizzes without reading the material, because I've already read enough stuff. Like, this is social psychology. Yeah, this is social psychology. They're talking about the Bobo doll experience, the experiment. They're talking about micro slicing. They're talking about the incident in New York where the woman what do they call it? They call it crowd. It is the bystander effect, right? Where if a gang of people witness something happening, we could all just disappear and nobody report it because we're all thinking that somebody else is going to do it.
Nah, yeah.
So a woman can get murdered and or get beat almost to death in front of 100 people, and everybody's believing and thinking that
somebody did
or whatever, right? So they call that the bystander effect, right? So all of these things, but I've read about these things years ago, so like, it doesn't interest me as much right now, so I'm not engaged. So I told my sister, I said, look, what I do is that I get 2 chances to take the quiz, right? So I'll take the quiz, and if the grade is enough to satisfy me, I'll just move on, right? So I took it one time, I got a 3 out of 10, right? But I said before that at some point my well of knowledge is going to run dry. Like, I don't know everything, right? Nobody knows everything. So I'm like, it's going to run dry and I'm going to have to apply myself, right? So I got a 3 out of 10 and told her, and she like, oh, well, my husband always says that you're smart. Said, well, I'm like, okay. So then I went and redid it, after reading the material, got a higher score, then did the next week's quiz without reading the material and got a 7 out of 11. I ain't even told her that. So she listened to you know what I'm saying? I did it again. That's what I do. But seriously, when it comes to things that I need to apply myself to or whatever, or if I'm being challenged or being engaged by other people, then cool, let's do it. But I understand now that my learning style is different. I need to have engagement in order for me to cycle through the information in order to put it in a place where I can recall it, right? Like, I've read, like, my ability to recall certain things, like I can recall a lot of quotes and things like that because I, spent time absorbing these things and so forth, right?
Okay.
And
I'm gonna ask you a question. Then we're gonna get to the random questions so we can challenge you, right? So we got 5 people got questions. Oh man, I can't get to my question. All right, I'm gonna ask you this real quick question. How many books you think you read?
I don't know, man. Somebody done asked me that question before, right? I remember trying to formulate a list, right, of the stuff that I could remember, right? And I may have that list somewhere, right? But on that list, it probably was like, it may have been like 100 books on that list, right? And that was like nonfiction, right? That's like nonfiction, but like I've read like hundreds of novels, like just entertaining myself because not watching TV, just read this, read that. But I've read more than that list. I've read, put it like this, right? If I like right here, that's some of my books right there, that I just had in the county jail before I came home, right? So that's like about 10 books, right? Or whatever. In prison, you're allowed to only have 10 books, right? When I paroled, I had like 20 in my possession, and beyond that 20, I've given away like hundreds of books and so forth. Like,
so out of them 10 books, what's the best book? You just pick one book. What's the best one you would pick? Which one you would be like, I picked this one out of all of them? Out of them 10 books right there.
Okay, but here's the thing. I have my favorite. See, there's a difference between my favorite and the book that I would suggest for other people. If I'm suggesting a book for other people, I would say The Community of the Self by Naeem Akbar, Dr. Naeem Akbar.
Okay, I have to check that one out.
That was a book that really influenced me. That was a book that changed my life. Like, that book helped me to really understand myself, and it helped me to really, take the reins to become more responsible for my actions.
All right. And what's your favorite book?
The True Believer by Eric Hoffer.
True Believer.
The True Believer. Okay. Yes. Okay. And it ain't even a well-written book. It's just I like it.
Yeah, you just like it. I'm got some random questions, man. Let me get to these random questions real quick, man. And we're gonna try to answer them. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get a couple minutes on it because I know you're long-winded. I got you though. Let me see. Let me see. You can see that?
Yep. Were there moments when you thought justice might finally be served? Justice finally be served? About me? No, because under the circumstances, right? Honestly, I was sentenced to die in prison, and we really haven't established that. I was sentenced to life without possibility of parole for a crime that happened when I was 18 years old. And in that crime, another person that I was in company with, killed another person that I was associated with, right? So, there was a lot to unpack there. I'm in a situation where, everybody knows me and not these other people, and the other person did this thing, and everybody flees, and I'm the person who gets identified, and I'm the person who does the time, right? And so justice wasn't served in that way with me doing my time, but this is the streets. Stuff happens. Like, I did 29 years. Other people that was involved in the crime also, had things happen to them too. So I guess you could say that it all balances out in one way or another, you know?
Okay. And his next question.
Do you ever find yourself feeling angry or resentful? If so, how do you manage those feelings now? I used to find myself angry, right? I used to be mad at people, like people for testifying against me and, and just people for misleading me and, just all kinds of things, right? But one of the funny things is I never was really mad at my parents or, family members and things like that. I understood that they just weren't, equipped to handle what was around them, that they also had, things that they were struggling with and trying to overcome. Right. But so when it comes to me being resentful, though, no, I kind of like let a lot of that stuff go. Right. And I had a conversation with one of the victims of my crime, one of the male victims, and he kind of like asked me about, my resentment. I don't know if he asked me that directly, but in a roundabout way. And I was kind of like, man, you know what? If you had ever came on a prison yard with me, yes, there probably would have been some stuff, but there was a point where that went away, and when that went away, I let it go. It was just like, I really was like, hey, just, if I see somebody, they don't have to worry about me saying anything. Like, if you bring some drama, then that's, the energy that you're on. But, I was just on something different. And the thing is that, this individual that I'm talking about specifically was something like around 17 or something when the crime occurred. So, he's a juvenile, but I'm 18, like we're peers. We like, are in the same school district range area. Like we know the same people and everything. And, but at the same time, when it comes to like personal involvement and, the streets or whatever, yes, I was coming from a different mindset and a different, just worldview than other people. And that made me a danger to people. Like really, honestly, like, was justice served or whatever, I did need to be removed for some time. Because yes, I was somebody that was willing to do things, and and even the things that I was willing to do on my own, I also was easily influenced, by other people because I wanted to fit in and gain favor with people. I mean, the truth of the matter is everybody's like, oh, well, what are gangs about or whatever? Gangs are about rising to the top. Like, you want to be known and, and seen and recognized and things like that. So, people are chasing status and notoriety and things like that, and it gets people hurt.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna ask you this question, but I want to ask the question. We got a couple questions from the guests out there, but if you can talk to your 16-year-old self at the age you're at right now, what would you tell
him? My 16-year-old self?
Yeah, at the age you're at right now.
That's crazy. Why would you go back to 16? I'm just curious. You know what I'm saying? Because I
don't know because 16, I think we are easy to be influenced around that time because we don't really know what's going on.
Okay, if I go back to 16, I would tell my 16-year-old self to listen to her. And she knows who she is. If she's listening or watching or something, I don't know. Like, but,
yeah. KKG, what we got? We got some people out there with some questions.
What was the first food you wanted to eat when you came home?
What was the first food you wanted to eat when you came home?
I wanted barbecue chicken.
You wanted barbecue? Ooh,
I wanted barbecue chicken, but I got KFC. I got KFC because I was starving. Like, huh? So what?
You didn't get your barbecue chicken yet?
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got some. Okay. Yeah, I got some barbecue. Yeah, but the first thing I was like just extremely hungry, just coming out because the process of getting released, it was just a whole bunch of drama around it.
All right, we got some more questions out there. We got a couple of them, so we gotta holler. We gotta show love to the people, man. I wish y'all names was out there.
What was the first thing you did when you first got out?
What was the first thing you did when you first got out?
The first thing that happened was my sister picked me up and I told her I was hungry. She asked me what I wanted. We went to KFC, right? And we went to her house, right? And it was just me and her. And I was waiting for my wife and my sister to arrive. And then my nephew arrived, right? And my nephew, he's a little young football player. He's like 12 years old. He's, his team actually was I think when they were 9-year-olds, they were national champs. They came down there to Disney World and they played at the Wide World of Sports and stuff and all that, the little Super Bowl. So, he's a little highly ranked athlete. His older brother is at Oregon. He's a wide receiver. And, they're on that path. They're doing all the good things. And, it was really just like that was a touching moment to he didn't know that I was coming and, to embrace me, a hug and yeah, I'm here now. And then everybody man, look, we surprised everybody. Nobody knew. Like, I was just popping up at people's houses and stuff. Like, look, I popped up at my mother's house on her birthday. I got out the day before my mother's birthday. Walked up in her house, right? And she just collapsed in her chair. Because I was sitting at her dining room table and my sisters brought her up in there and she just seen me and just, had no idea, like 29 years.
Dang. That was a blessing. Any more questions out there? When you got some more?
Is there anything you would have done differently during your time to help prepare you for the free world?
Yeah, I wish that I would have accelerated my college education. Because what I did was I only was able to get to complete 5 courses. And I'm still a college student now. I'm currently taking courses, but I would have been, I could have already had a bachelor's by now. Maybe even a master's. I could be working on my PhD right now. After 29 years, actually, if I could afford it or if the financing was there, like the government programs and stuff that exist today, if those things existed back then, I probably would already have 2 PhDs or something. Ain't no telling, but I wish that I could have done those things.
Okay, we got another question. Let me see what we got.
What kept you strong? Was it faith, family, or books?
Ooh. What kept you strong? What kept you strong? Faith, family, or books?
I'm gonna go ahead and say books, right? I want to say me, say really, but you just don't bend. And here's the thing that people misunderstand about prison, right? In prison, the guards are people. In prison, the prisoners are people, right? The same way that I'm sitting here talking to you, right? And you're like, oh, well, all these prisoners, right? But I'm somebody's brother, somebody's son, all of those things, right? I could be at your family. I could come out there one day and be at somebody's family reunion and they not even know that we're all related or whatever, right? So we're all just regular people. It's just the fact that when you congregate a bunch of violent, or angry people together, then you get a powder keg, and that's what prison is, you get some of the most miserable and bitter attitudes and opinions and they're all just rubbing, and especially people don't understand when you're a lifer and you're doing time in places where lifers are congregated in mass, nobody's going nowhere. So it's just the same monotonous faces and bullshit over just years. I'm sitting on yards where it's the same people. We all just sitting there for 5-6 years. I think that's about the longest I was probably on one yard, in Calipatria. Yeah.
Damn. Let me see. I'm gonna throw one of my questions up here. Let me see if you got it.
What's the darkest moment you faced during your sentence, and how did you pull yourself out of it? Darkest moment. That's kind of difficult to say, to pinpoint the darkest moment.
I mean, I don't know if you ever been to SEG, sometimes.
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? That's nothing. That ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
that's a break.
Sometimes the beginning, just to realize, like, damn, I'm in this room all day.
That's a break. That's a break.
I know. It is kind of like, you know what? And a lot of people don't understand. Like, that's like meditating. That's like peaceful. That's like you by yourself, bro.
Look, right now, I'll tell you this, right? They've changed prison so much and watered it down to the point to where now they got TVs and all that stuff in the hall, right? Yeah, in the hall, right? But here's the thing, right? When I was in the hall, those were those foundational, building moments for me. Like, I read the biography of Malcolm X when I was in Corcoran Shul, right? That was 1998, so I was 21 years old, right? No, 22. I was 22 years old, right? And I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and that was something that also changed me, And then after that, I read another book called Black Nationalism that had a lot of quotes from Malcolm. Like, there's one, I'm gonna talk about it when I do a video, but Malcolm said he said it was only 3 people that changed the world, that they changed the way that people thought about themselves. That was the important thing. That's what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? On this conscious tip, I'm trying to change the way that people think about themselves.
Man, that's what's up, man. Again, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you, man. Because I don't want them to forget, man.
I'm Lil Frog, the Conscious Crip. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And you know what I'm saying? And in a moment, you might find me on bookshelves.
Man, and we're gonna holler again, but man, you can be on a TED Talk.
Yeah, I might do that too. Oh, I just got invited to go speak at I told you I'm gonna go speak at Cal Poly to go do this this speech on emancipation, or not emancipation, but abolition. I kept saying the abolitionist movement. They want to abolish prisons. One of my friends that I met when I was in prison, she came in and taught at the prison, right? And then linked me up. When I got out, I contacted her, and she linked me with her boss, essentially, right? And it just turned into a whole. But I'm not saying names, but he's a doctor of they all got their letters and stuff and all that, and he runs these organizations that traveled, and he's this brother that's fluent in other languages, and he's an international bed of mystery or something, but but he tried to let me on his team, man, when I got out, and parole kind of like messed me up. I'm off now so I could travel, and definitely I want to link back up with him and try to see if I can get on the team,
Hey, I always ask this question because I never know what story a person can have, but do you have a testimony you would like to share with us?
Man, the only thing that I can say to people is, because you put me on the spot, a lot of things. I just think that we just have to understand that a lot of times we're making judgments about people based upon our own experiences and expectations, and what the other person is going through is just absolutely not what you think. And I learned this through this social psychology class right now, and just applying what I see. And I saw it just here with my sisters and my mother, just seeing a phone call between one being misinterpreted. And I'm like, nah, well, she was, doing this and doing that, and she's not feeling, and you're thinking, and, and there's just this misunderstanding because everybody is assuming facts that just don't exist. Right. So what I'm trying to do to myself is to not project my feelings and beliefs and stuff to other people to where I'm getting worked up. And that's another thing. There's another book that I read, Radical Honesty. That was something that was deep for me and I believe what the guy said, that a lot of the hardships or the ills that we physically feel in life has to do with us just not being real to each other. Just everybody, because think about how stressful it is to try to to hold up a facade and lie to people about who you are, or your relationship to them or with them or whatever, right? That type of tension is sort of like trying to walk on a tightrope, like
tightrope,
yeah, like like it gotta be stressful. So me personally, I be feeling like if I gotta lie to you, then you making me feel like you also have the ability to punish me. You know what I'm saying? Like for telling you the truth. Like I don't like that feeling. I'm a kid. Like so I typically don't lie to people, but sometimes the truth is bitter for people, So
yeah, sometimes they can't handle the truth. Hey, I got do we have any more questions? We got a couple more questions. All right, let me see. We got another question on because I was gonna ask my. Go ahead, my famous question.
This one's a lot.
It's a lot.
So, when you started to elevate your consciousness, did it conflict with the environmental gain politics? The awakening of Black consciousness is therapeutic because there is no Black enemy.
Yeah, the gang culture, right, definitely conflicts with the ability to be a conscious person, because the gang culture creates barriers between people. Like the Crips and the Bloods can't be cellies. You could be best friends with this blood, and y'all could be brothers and everything else and all that, but under the political regimes that existed at the time, it's like like y'all could the Crips go to war with the Bloods, and y'all in the cell with each other, somebody might end up dead, and nobody wants to be because y'all might be cool, but all it takes is for one person to be more fanatical than you, and you're stabbed dead. But that can also happen with other Crips or Bloods against Blood or any person, right? But there's just security measures that are put in place in order to protect secrets and and all kinds of other things that goes along with trying to maintain balance and control on prison yards.
Okay. Okay.
I saw something pop up.
You got another question? All right. Which one you got?
How tall are you? It appears you're tall. They probably scared of your big ass.
Nah, I'm short. I'm 5'9". I used to be like, when I entered prison, I'm 5'9" and like 140 pounds, maybe like 138. Like, like right now I sit at like 204 or something, right? But I didn't gain weight until after what year was that? I was in a hole in 2014, I think. 2013. No, 20. I was in the hole in 2012. They had a hunger strike, and after the hunger strike, I came off of it and had like Doritos and donuts and all kinds of stuff, and I was never thin again.
I was never thin again. Yeah. Hey, this is one of my famous questions I always ask, man, because you told me you gonna do interviews too.
Yeah.
So if you had a 5-minute interview with God and you had to ask him one question, what would you ask him?
Who is the actual first woman that ever existed? And because here's the thing, I always ask people who are the 5 people that they would want to have dinner with, and one of my answers is I want to have dinner with the original woman, the first mother.
First woman. That's deep. The original woman, because, and I know you read a lot, so you knew the original. As they said, was the original Lilith. Woman wasn't the original one.
Lilith.
Yeah,
you talking about Lilith?
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I would be because my conversation would be like, tell me the real, like, give me the tea, like, like, why are they slandering you? What you done done, whole girl? Like, but yeah, so that's where it's at, man. So I'm gonna be getting into my own little things and stuff and all that. I'm kind of like rolling around like a lot of little things. I got some little nieces, and because I got 46 nieces and nephews. That's what I came home to. I came home to an army. to a brigade, right? I got these little family members and stuff. I got one of my little nieces. She's a rock star. She's 7. Like she's just, and I want to promote positivity. Ain't no telling what I might do, So, yeah.
Oh man, you already know it's gonna be big, man. You're gonna do something big and positive, We got some more questions out there. Oh, I got a couple more. That was the last one. Let me see if I got one up here. What's that one thing you learned about human nature while you was in prison?
The one thing that I learned about human nature. I learned a lot of things, but I think that the number one thing is that people are going to be deceptive, right? And you have to always deal with people through their actual motives. So you have to be able to pinpoint where a person's motives lie when they're approaching, right? And the whole thing is that just because everybody's approaching everybody with a selfish motive. Everybody wants something, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But the problem lies in you misinterpreting what the person wants, because if you don't know what they want, then you end up giving up something that you didn't intend to.
Yeah.
Because if you know what they want, you can always just say no and just keep it moving. But what they want may be beneficial to you, or whatever. It's just learning how to have reciprocal relationships with people and understand that just because a person is distasteful in one way, it doesn't make them distasteful all the way around. Like, for instance, some people don't want Donald Trump as president, but Donald Trump as this or that or whatever, doesn't necessarily leave a bad taste in a person's mouth. You want to build, you might want to go talk to him, but you don't want to talk to him about trying to fix the actual reason why people are immigrating from Honduras and Guatemala and Costa Rica, Venezuela, and Peru and so forth, Haiti and all that. Why are people coming to the United States? What is it that the United States foreign policy does in those countries that creates those conditions? Nobody's talking about those things, though. And here's the thing about the border wall and even mass incarceration. They spent over $1 million. They spent millions of dollars. They spent like about $100,000 a year incarcerating me for 29 years, right? And still let me out, and I'm still capable of doing anything that I want to do because I have the freedom to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't alter my mind. They didn't do anything. They just altered the sentence because they kind of were in a position where they kind of had to. So it wasn't no act of love or no act of any type of compassion or anything like that for me. Right. And I understand what the motive was. It's really a money thing at the end of the day. California can't afford to lock me up, any longer, because they also understand that I'm not the danger that I once was. But here's the thing. I'm not a danger to nobody as long as they're not a danger to me. But that's anybody, the right to self-defense. But they took away my right to self-defense because of this felony conviction. Now, Donald Trump, are you going to give me back my right to bear arms? Because if you got a gun, I want one too.
Yeah, right.
But anyway,
a felony, right? Right here, felony in here, president. Yeah, give us our guns back. Give us going.
Well, he's not a felon. He hasn't been convicted though. He ain't a felon.
He ain't been
convicted. Oh, wait. No. The stuff in New York was those no, but they were misdemeanors, weren't they? I'm not even sure. They might have elevated on felonies. All right, he's a felon. Yeah. All right, it was 46 felony convictions or whatever he got. But anyway, but going back to the thing though, man, that's just what it is, man. My perspective on things are just different, just based upon the fact that I try to, get more information on subjects than just what's being fed to me. Like you can't tell, nobody can tell me nothing because I go out and I go do my own research. And yes, I go to conservative sources if I need to. And all of the stuff that I say that I've read some of the craziest, wildest stuff that, that's been published in white nationalist circles and conservative circles. Yeah, I've read Rush Limbaugh and and some of these other people, and I've listened to some of their shows and all that. So Trump is what? Oh, 34. All right, he got 34 felony convictions. Thank you, Oshi board. Yeah, so 34 felony convictions.
That's crazy. Let me see, man. Anyway, I got one more. I got one more question. Let me see. Let me see. Hey, if the people want to keep it riding, if you ain't got nothing to do, we're gonna keep it riding. But you got one more question. Let me see.
I didn't win my appeal. Actually, what happened was it was a long process that happened, right? So the law was altered. So in 2015, there was a court case called People versus Banks that came out, right? So this is a long story. So, if y'all want to hear it, you want me to give it?
Go ahead.
All right. So look, U.S. Supreme Court law, there's a case called Edmund versus Florida, right? Edmund versus Florida established in 1984 that a person could not be executed in the United States for sitting in a car during a robbery, right? Okay. That he couldn't be executed. They said he's not culpable enough as a co-conspirator sitting in a car, that he wasn't there when the bodies dropped. He wasn't there able to prevent it. He didn't know nothing about it, all of that, right? Even though this guy, Edmund, was the most culpable person for the overall crime. He brought the people there, he masterminded the crime, and he helped them get rid of the weapons. But the U.S. Supreme Court said, yeah, all of that, but you can't kill him. Right? 1984. Right? Now, a case comes out in 1987 called Tyson versus Arizona. That's TISON, right? Versus Arizona. So Tyson versus Arizona was a case where some men smuggled some guns into a prison during a visit and broke their father and his cellmate out of the prison. Violent escape from prison. But here's the thing: their father and the father in the room and the cellmate were already in jail for murder, and the father had killed before trying to escape. So the U.S. Supreme Court, what the U.S. Okay.
Who?
Yeah. So okay. So look, Tyson versus Arizona, right? So the sons go in there, they break their father out, they go on a shooting spree with the police. They're running from them. They carjack a family and they take the family's car and they kill the family. And there were babies. There was a baby and there was like a young teenager or something, right? So they killed 4 people. The father and the cellmate, I believe, were the trigger men. The sons just, they stood around, right? So the court said at the end of the day that no, you couldn't execute Edmund who sat in the car, right? But that those Tyson brothers, that their actions were more substantial, that they were major participants in the crime that led up to the death, right? So that's the key word: major participants, major participation. That's one prong. Their actions, they were major participants. Then the court said that if you decide that they were also recklessly indifferent to human life, that you can kill them. And the U.S. Supreme Court sent that case back to Arizona to decide that matter. That was 1987. The California system, the legislature, no, not the voters of California passed a proposition, I think it was 115 in like 1990, right? Right after Tyson versus Arizona, that codified Tyson versus Arizona into California law, right? And when they did that, that gave them the ability to give life without and the death penalty to a myriad group of people for participation in these crimes, right? So what ended up happening was, with me, I was in a building, in an apartment with a gun. So yes, I was a major participant, right? But the question became later, was I recklessly indifferent to human life? And that's questionable. But now, going back to Tyson versus Arizona, Prop 115, California passes the law. I get convicted and sentenced, and I'm sitting up there doing my time and trying to get back in the courts. 2015, another guy's case comes up that's identical to Edmund, but a California state case. This guy is sitting in the car during a dispensary robbery, and his homeboys kill somebody, and the courts say they end up giving him life without parole for sitting in the car. Right? The California Supreme Court says no. If the U.S. Supreme Court said under federal law that he can't be executed, right, for sitting in the car, and the voters of California said that Prop 115 is related directly and incorporates all of the language of Tyson versus Arizona and Edmund versus Florida, because Tyson didn't overrule Edmund. They're saying that it's a continuum, right? And in that continuum, what you get is you get Edmund on one extreme and you get Tyson on the Tyson brothers on the other. So if you're closer to Edmund, you're not a special, you can't be executed. But if you're closer to Tyson, then you can be executed. But the thing is that this is up to interpretation through juries, court systems, and appellate courts. So it got to an absurdity to the point to where you have this dude in this case in 2015 that was identical to Edmund, that was sentenced to die in prison when the U.S. Supreme Court said that shouldn't happen. Right? And now, so what the California Supreme Court did is said on the record that no, if Tyson versus Arizona and Edmund have already concluded that this guy can't be executed, and all of those things are interrelated, that under California law, as a matter of law, he can't be given life without neither, because it's because they're all up under the same penal code, 190.2A. Right? So that guy ended up getting his special circumstance to the murder dropped. Now, the special circumstance is the elevator that makes it a capital crime. So he still walked away with a first-degree murder, but he was eligible for release. The rest of us, we're sitting in there with life without and death penalty charges. Sentences. Right? So when that happens, another case comes out the next year with another guy sitting in the car. Oh, let me tell you. So in the Banks case in 2015, the guy sitting in the car name was Matthews, right? And what the California Supreme Court said about Matthews is that he's not a major participant, because under the U.S. Supreme Court law and Penal Code 190.2A that codified it into California law, you have to be a major participant and act with reckless indifference to human life in order to be executed. 2 prongs, right? So the California Supreme Court said that Matthews in the Bank case sitting in the car was not a major participant, because the U.S. Supreme Court already said that Edmund wasn't sitting in the car, right? Another case comes up the next year of a guy sitting in the car, but it's different. He is a major participant sitting in the car. You want to know why he's a major participant?
Why is that?
Because he's the ringleader. He brought him there, right? He supplied the weapon, right? He drew up all of the plans, and he did everything and brought the team together, right? So the court is looking at him and they're like, okay, well, you're the cog that runs the whole machine. You're the man, right? So he's sitting in the car and he's a major participant, right? So the court has to decide, did he act with reckless indifference to human life? Remember, 2 prongs, right? So what did he do? He gave the guy a gun. You don't care about human life if you get somebody a gun to go commit a robbery. That's their thinking, right? Of course.
Yeah.
But guess what? He gave the guy a gun, and according to the case law, and I'm quoting the facts that the court relies on in all these cases. I'm not talking about, what somebody told me. This is what the court's taken as the official facts. The court said that this guy, William Clark, actually did not give the guy a loaded weapon, that the guy took it upon himself to put a bullet in the gun, right? So the court looks at this and says, okay, he's the ringleader, but he gave him an unloaded gun. They're like, what else did he do to mitigate, the chances of violence? Oh, he did it at closing. And what else did he do? When he heard the gunshots, yeah, kind of. I was kind of a jailhouse attorney. So yeah.
Yeah.
So when Clark heard the gunshots, he flees, he drives off, and the guy is running, trying to jump in the car. So the courts is judging his mental state. They're like, he's fleeing, and he didn't give him no bullets. So they're like, he wasn't recklessly indifferent to human life, right? So you got these two cases that the California Supreme Court ruled that these guys were not death eligible for those crimes. But I'm sitting there death eligible for participation in a crime where, there was major participation, but there was a question as to whether there was reckless indifference to human life, right? And so what ends up happening is that the California legislature watered down the felony murder rule in 2019 in response to Banks and Clark's cases. So those two cases got help get me out of prison. I've talked to William Clark, and I'm going to interview William Clark on my channel. I mean, hopefully, I didn't ask him for the interview. I want to, though, but I vote to him.
It will. It'll happen.
Yeah, but so anyway, so California changes the law in 2019, and what ends up happening in 2019 is that they kind of said that they were rejecting our cases because we had special circumstances attached to our cases that already said that we were major participants who acted with reckless indifference to human life. But under different standard, what ends up happening is the case goes up to the California Supreme Court. I filed in 2019 and didn't get relief until 24. Right. And the reason was because the DAs and attorney generals along the way was saying that the changes in the law didn't count for the people that were death sentenced. Right. Just because we were death sentenced. Right. But the California Supreme Court came back and said, no, y'all death sentenced Matthew and Clark too. So if their cases is before that, y'all got to review them. And here I am.
And there you are. You home.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. That's a lot. Hey man, I got some pictures, man. I want you to go ahead and tell me. I got a couple of pictures, man. I just wanted to tell me what was your mind at and what was going on around them times. So this is the first picture. Bam.
I don't remember who was in the cell with me at that particular time. There were some other pictures that that might have been the homie Young Too Slim Smoke. But we was just posted, just taking pictures. We was working out, took some pictures.
You remember you was locked up at right now? You was locked up
right there. That was in Centinela. That was in Imperial, California.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What about this picture?
That was Centinela still. That was that same cell. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Most of those pictures that's floating around was like, said from that time when I had that particular phone in Centinela. Yeah. Okay. Then I got like pictures. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I was doing my stuff. I was buffing. I was, trying to get it right,
Trying to get it right.
Trying to get it right, man.
Yeah.
We was on our tip, man. That's when Monster Cody was. I was over there with Monster Cody and shit and all that. I'm gonna tell some stories about that guy. We didn't agree politically. We didn't agree politically at all. Like, what I'm saying, but he respected what I had to say to him, though. I remember one time he was like, man, he told his comrade, he like, man, Frog just read me the riot act, right? And I'm just telling you, you got into it with all the Crips on the tier, except for me and Ronell for 5-6 Syndicate. You got into it with everybody. You running up in dual cells with knives and shit. And he tried to he claimed you for to stab my cellie in front of his cell, in front of my cell. His homeboy said, man, you better go over there. Monster about to go up in the cell on your cellie because said he called him a nigga. Just using nigga and said in just conversation.
Just talk, yeah.
Monster was like, man, don't do that, don't say that to me, right? And next thing you know, he was over there acting like he finna kill him. Just crazy shit. Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing, like people be serious. Like people don't understand. Like, man, people don't like that word and everybody wants to use it like it's just some universal tough guy, anthem or something. And that song is still charged with a lot of energy that means something to people. And I don't even use it that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I use it more now than I did when I was incarcerated, but that's just a different situation, different scenario. And I use it, mostly for dramatic effect. It's not a part of my language.
I mean, and when you're locked up, you got to be careful because it do mean a lot about respect. So, you know what I'm saying? With that word, you can take it as disrespect or just using it.
I mean, but for the most part, it's just pop culture. Everybody's been using it, but when you get people that are more revolutionary minded or more militant or whatever, then you're dealing with a different element. And those are the elements that I mostly dealt with. I ran in circles where people were intellectually inclined and they may have been violent and gang members and stuff and all that, but we were sharing books and sharing ideologies and theories and stuff. And and some of that stuff is to be applied at later dates. Ain't no telling what we might do.
On the real. All right, I got a couple more pictures, man. Tell me what's about this picture, man. You look clean on this one, though.
Oh man, hey, look, man. So I was wearing my white jacket on that, man. Right, we was in Santa Monica, and that was the only time I ever got compliments for my clothes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? People, I know I'm not gonna let it become a habit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wearing the jacket. See, the jacket got Prince. It got the album cover for Prince and the Purple Rain on the back, right? So we walked and stuff. We're like, I like your jacket, you guys. So it's cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
That was my first time going there. What happened was we did a tour of like some of the beach cities and stuff, and I think that was Venice actually, yeah. And that was like the last leg of the trip. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Man, you we was in the same county, huh? Oh, yeah. All right, got a couple more pictures, man. Let me see. Let's see if you can see that one. Man, tell me about the bull ride. Go ahead.
Oh man, hey, look, we was over there. It was my homeboy, Don Hefe. Said he got a channel on YouTube too, right? So it was his daughter's birthday, right? And we was over there, just the fellas just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Well, I said my homeboy Don Hefe, that's my little nephew, man. You know what I'm saying? He was like about 6 when I went away, right? That's my homeboy's son, and he was, every time I used to come around, he'd be like, tell his father or his cousin, he'd be like, Mr. Frog is here, Mr. Frog. Like that was my little guy, though, right? So it was all good seeing him, it was all love, man. Oh, BJ, man. But so that was his daughter's birthday party, and we was all chilling in the front, like all the adults, males and stuff, right? And then his mother came out, you know what I'm saying? Oh, his grandmother, she came out and she was like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all go get on this bull, right? So I was like, okay, let's go. I got up first. So all the other videos that I didn't post, like everybody went after me. That was my first ride. So on my first ride, I was holding on with my right hand, and then I got another video on my left. I was holding with my left, and my right was up. But that was fun, though, man. I was,
yeah, that was different.
I was sore the next. After the 2 rides, I was sore the next day, though. They threw me.
On the real. This is the last picture, man. Tell me about this picture right here.
Oh, Those are my siblings and my cousin. So the one in the red shirt, that's my brother. The one next to him is my cousin, and those are 3 of my sisters. I told you I got 13 siblings.
Damn.
Yeah, but we just went out. We just went out to breakfast that day. They was just like, "Come on, let's go." That was like one of the last times we was all together. But yeah, so it's cool. Yeah.
Man, that's what's up, man. So, hey, since you've been gone and now that you're home, do it look different?
Everything's different. I mean, some of the places I haven't even ventured off into yet because I just in different areas now, So, but when I do go off into places that I'm more, that I grew up in and more familiar with, there's all this, new development and construction and stuff. Like everything's different.
That's crazy. Damn. When you was locked up, damn, who was the president when you was locked up?
When I went in, that was Clinton era.
Clinton?
Yeah, Clinton. Yeah.
Dang.
95. Clinton. I saw George Bush get elected and all that crazy stuff. Yeah.
So, I know we getting almost to the end of the podcast, man. So I gotta ask you, if you can talk to the youth, what kind of message would you send out to them?
I'll tell them that, they don't have to be in such a rush to get to everything, that I've lived that life and other people have, and we only, come back at the end of everything to trying to pick up the pieces and trying to do all the things that everybody recommended that we do from the beginning. When people are, I'm 48 years old and I'm taking college courses. I should have got that done at 18, 19, 20 and been done with it. But instead, I didn't listen to people. So I'm telling you kids now that, while you think that everything in the moment is the most important thing, but a time will come when other things will come to the forefront, and you want to be prepared for those things. You want to put yourself in the best position to be successful later in life. It's about the long game, not about the short game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, man, before we head out, man, is there anybody you want to send a shout out to?
Send a shout out to the Robinson Session. Who else we got? The Rileys, just all of my family members out there. To the Williams family, to the Montgomerys, the Jacksons, the Glass family. All my loved ones out there. And all the homies from the Fang, all sides.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm a Jackson too, so we family. Welcome to the family. You know what I'm saying? We on the mission. Family on the mission. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, man. I appreciate you spending this hour of power, or I say hour and a half, what I'm saying, with your boy, because you could have did anything. But, man, I like your stories, man. I know you got a gang of stories, man, so I'm going to definitely, what I'm saying, y'all need to go subscribe to the channel. I already hit the notification
Look, if I get 100 subscribers, I'll be back so we can move it to 2. Nah, I'm coming back anyway, man. Just invite me.
All right, man. Y'all help him, man. Y'all help him get up to that 100 subscribers. He just came home. He got a gang of stories. You know what I'm saying? I like your videos, even though you just be like, man, I just be doing, man, they don't matter. Do your stories.
Yeah, I know I gotta be. I know people
where you gotta be at.
No, but people probably want me to be more personable and lively, but at the same time, I'm just coming to a place where I'm even comfortable being on. I didn't want to do this. Everybody's asking me or telling me, that this is my path and things like that. I'm a much more private person. I'm an intimate, conversation. I like to talk with small groups of people. I don't want to be, that's not my thing. But, sometimes you just have to do the things that you just have to just grab the bull by the horns and just do what you got to do.
That's right, man. Sometimes you got to be in them uncomfortable situations to get to where you need to be at. So, even though
right now at this point, it ain't even necessarily about me. I mean, I could just go bury my head in the sand. I don't have children, grandchildren, no nothing. And people be tripping when I say that stuff. I'll be like, man, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'll just go away. I'm trying to help and trying to be better.
I mean, like you say, you ain't got no kid, but hey, that don't, not yet. You don't know the best part of your life.
No, but here's the thing. No, don't even, because everybody do that, right? Everybody's like, oh, well, you can still have kids. No, I don't want to be raising kids at 70. You know what I'm saying, and so forth and all that. So no, I mean, that's gone. That's over. You know, and it's just a reality. Here's the thing, right? The truth of the matter is this, right? That you know what I'm saying, a person, you know what I'm saying, died in a crime that I committed, right? He didn't have no kids. I don't have no kids. That's just, you know what I'm saying, life. You know what I'm saying? That was that when people ask what was the price of gang banging, the price was the fact that I don't got no damn children. That, you know what I'm saying, that genetically this whole existence has come to an end. My DNA is officially dead. I'm not in the gene pool anymore. So here's the thing, right? So all the women out there that probably thought they was gonna, you know, have a smart baby with somebody that, you know, that you know, no, I'm joking.
I was so thinking, I'm like, man, you so smart and intelligent.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? No. Hey, you know what? No, I might look. I'll say this, right? No, real talk, right? I ain't gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? No, because I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that I might donate, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, but yeah, but I'm not raising no kids,
no. No, okay. Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? And it don't it's not that I'm not trying to talk deadbeat stuff. Look, I got 46 nieces and nephews. Like, yeah, why do I'm gonna snatch some of my brothers and sisters' kids? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or some of my other little cousins, whatever. I got hundreds of cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, I don't have to bring a kid into this world. Yeah. Or if I really wanted one, I can adopt one. It don't matter. That's the whole thing about all this arrogance and stuff and all that about, oh, I have to perpetuate myself. Oh, I have to, you know, fuck me. I ain't nobody. You
know? Yeah, I didn't look at that. That was a way of looking at it too. That was crazy. Hey. So, excuse me. Yeah, man. So again, I appreciate you coming on the Fammission Podcast, man. You know, we definitely gonna stay in touch, man. Whatever I can do to help you, please reach out to me. You know, I can help you with your artwork. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody with your artwork to help you with that.
Trying to nail down a lot of this technical stuff and all that. Like, look, man, I was thrust into it like faster than what I was prepared. Like the first interview went up on Life Gangbangers Life Coach page. That's Coach Zoe, you know, and he put it up and it got like 3,000 views in like 24 hours. But I didn't have a page up and running, no nothing, you know. So I didn't even have my mind made up. So, you know, So now I'm scrambling. And trying to appease, you know, other people by trying to jump in, not necessarily appease them and trying to satisfy them, but just trying to provide something because I know that they're looking for something that I personally can provide. Right. And that thing is insight and you know, an added perspective.
Yep.
You know, yeah. So
you definitely got the knowledge, man. You know, I read somewhere and say, you know, the knowledge and the information that we got is not necessary for us. It's for other people.
Yeah, it's definitely to be shared.
Yeah, it's to be shared, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, I can definitely see you in the future doing it big, man. You can come back and say, man, remember we did this podcast together? I'm like, yeah, I remember, man. And I told you you're gonna be something big, and now look at you.
But how big? I want to run the world.
Man, whatever you want to do, whatever you set your mind to. Yeah, you set your mind to.
Nah, it's fine.
Yeah, man. So, man, I appreciate you, man. You enjoy the rest of your night. You know, we're gonna call in because I don't want to hold you hostage, man.
What's up? Do you record this or what? Is it? Do it also?
Yes, it's right now. It's going live. So we live right now, and when it cut, you know what I'm saying, we can take the live.
Oh, it's saved.
People. Yeah, it's saved. Just all like right. It is. Ain't no cuts. They know it's straight through, just like it is.
All right. Well, I will talk about it because I might want something.
Yeah, and that's why I say I'm gonna holler at you. You know, you got my line, so I'm gonna put you on game.
All right, we're good.
You're gonna like it. All right, man. You enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, man. You have a good day. All right. Peace, everybody.
Yo, what's up? This your boy Monty G from the Fammission Podcast. We just had Lil Frog, the conscious crip, on here from California, you know, and from LA. He been representing. He got some stories, man. Y'all make sure y'all go to his page, the conscious crip. Subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell on his page, my page, so you won't miss another episode. And this your boy Monty G. You know what I'm saying? And let me see. We got anything else you want to say before we check out? You got nothing to say? You got no famous quote or something? Not today? All right, y'all. Let me see if I got a quote for today. I got a quote for today. Yep, I ain't got a quote for today. But yeah. So next week, make sure y'all check us out on the Fammission Podcast, man. We just gonna be going live on YouTube in the future. You know what I'm saying? Facebook been acting up. So until then, we out. Y'all stay peaceful. I got the whole